Morning, everybody. I see we've got lots of you on already. I'm just going to give it another 30 seconds or so before we hit the start button. Okay, I think let's kick it off. So yeah, good morning, everybody. Great to have you on board with us. Some of you I know, but many of you I don't know. So welcome, and thank you for taking the time out today. You know, we're all busy, and a number of you are top and very successful agents that have joined us today on the webinar, and some of you from around the country. So I understand how important your time is. So I'm not going to wax lyrical about the opportunity that we're going to talk about today, other than to say it's really an opportunity that could change your life. No, actually, that will change your life if you decide to embrace it. It's a partnership that I think is rewriting, the company's certainly rewriting the real estate handbook and shifting the needle for those that have joined already. You'll see in the numbers that Steve's going to go through later what it presents and how it's changing things and changing people's paradigms in this real estate world. I know many of you fear change, no one as much as I do. And when this opportunity came to me, I was a bit of a skeptic. You know, this industry sometimes creates cynics of us, which is unfortunate. But I guess it's just the nature of the business. But after extensive research and looking at it and chatting to a lot of people and speaking to the global team and to the local team and many, many phone calls between myself and Steve, it just made sense. And I'm hoping that it resonates for some of you today in the same way it did for me and for my whole team and for those that I've introduced to the model already. Enough said, let's crack on. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you today to Stephen Johnstone. Many of you will know him or heard of him, and many of you would have interacted with him or had his help in the past in your careers. We're extremely lucky and privileged to have him as part of our team. He's in our corner and as we take this journey, and he really has been an incredible inspiration for me and for my team. And I know that if you do decide to take the journey, he will be the same for you. He is hands-on and he has no peers when it comes to wanting to help others and improve their careers and their livelihoods. So Stephen's an internationally renowned public speaker and real estate coach. He's a public speaker of note. If any of you have listened to him, you would have heard him. And he's a trainer, a real estate trainer that really takes everything he does to heart and is hands-on and has built up one of the largest online and one-on-one real estate training programs in South Africa. In fact, it is the largest program in South Africa. And he comes to us with his vast knowledge and experience of implementing those and having to adapt to various scenarios and agencies and agents across the country. So sit back over the next hour or so. Thank you for dedicating the time. Enjoy the journey with him. And if he laughs at his own jokes, don't worry, that's pretty normal. I think more of us should do that. So, Steve, over to you. And guys, enjoy the chat and I'll catch up at the end.
All right, super, James. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. And I've learned that if you don't laugh at your own jokes, most people won't laugh at your jokes, either. So I like to think that people are laughing with me, but in reality, probably laughing at me as I laugh at my own joke. But you know what? I quite like I quite like it that way. All right, James, you're welcome to shut your camera and your microphone down, and then maybe we'll hear from you at the end. So thanks again for having me, and thank you to the NRG team for putting on today. If you are a guest with us today, so I think James has introduced me. I've been a real estate trainer for the last 20 years. And my speciality has always been lead generation, because I think that's the most important thing you do in your business as an estate agent, specifically how to work by referral. And that's important because I think the best leads, in fact, the studies show that relationships and referral business are the cornerstone of every successful agent's business. I currently run, as James says, a mentorship program called Going Virtual in Real Estate. We've got about 800 agents on that I mentor on a fortnightly basis. Excuse me. And it was through that program that I met James and the NRG team, although James has actually been a client for a while now. But since the mentorship program, I've really got to know James personally. And as our friendship has grown, I've come to respect James tremendously. His leadership, and his team will tell you this is true. In the chat roll, I know we're going to get a whole bunch of yes, that's true. But James's leadership and his genuine care that he has for his agents is reflected in how loyal his people are to him. And in, I think it's really reflected in the freedom and the joy and the lightness that genuinely permeates the culture of his team at NRG. And so, James, I want you to know I'm tremendously privileged and grateful to be taking this eXp journey with you. And I appreciate your friendship. So thank you very much, man. So the background, guys, to eXp Realty is that in February last year, so about a year ago, I got a call from a guy in Canada, and he asked me to take a look at a new real estate. So this was an ex-client of mine that had subsequently moved to Canada. He said, Stephen, I want you to take a look at a new company called eXp Realty, which is going to be launching into South Africa later in the year. At the time, I had never heard of eXp. And as it turns out, they are a US-based real estate company. They are about 11 years old now. But, I do get approached a little bit by companies wanting me to promote their stuff to the real estate industry here in South Africa. And so I usually just politely decline, and I don't get involved with stuff like that. But in this case, something that I heard about this company intrigued me. Something about its technology and how that enables them to compensate their agents completely differently. And so I started doing my homework into this business, and the more I found out about it, the more I fell in love with this company. So as I have learned, they are the fastest growing real estate company in history. They have smashed every record set by their predecessors, Remax, and then subsequent to them, Keller Williams smashed all the records. And eXp have come on the scene, and they have just experienced unprecedented, phenomenal growth. Over the last 7 years in particular, about 7 years ago, they had 500 agents. The latest count is 42,000, and thousands are joining them every month now. It's like eXp have just hit this tipping point, and they are also now expanding globally. So 2 years ago, they expanded to Canada, the UK, and Australia. Then at the end of last year, they expanded to 5 more countries. South Africa was one of them. So we've only been open as a country about 2 months now. And then they've opened 4 more countries in the first quarter of this year. And there's another 5 coming in the second quarter of this year. It's like these guys are taking over the world of real estate. Now, the reason they are growing so fast is they own a piece of technology that enables them to be far more profitable than any other real estate business. And I will show you what that is today. And that in turn then allows them to compensate their agents completely differently and far more lucratively than the traditional real estate model. And so this model with which they work is a complete market disruptor. It's like an Uber in the taxi industry or an Airbnb in the hotel industry. So eXp was founded by a guy called, I think I got a little slide that says about eXp. Yeah. eXp was founded by this guy called Glenn Sanford in 2009. So Glenn Sanford was one of the executives or had a big team at Keller Williams. He built a $60 million real estate team, and he had done something completely differently within the Keller Williams model, though. He had built his business entirely online. All his interactions, all his presentations, everything was done online. Now, just remember, this was 2009. This is 1 year after the first iPhone had been launched. So, I mean, in technology timeline, this is an age ago. There was no such thing as Zoom or webinars or Google Meet or anything like that. And so Glenn Sanford was quite ahead of his time. He believed that the traditional brick and mortar model of real estate, where we have offices and we have franchise offices and we have a physical presence on the main roads of every street and all of that, he just believed that whole physical model of real estate was unnecessary. He believed, and I mean, again, quite ahead of his time, that a multi-office, even national, and as it turns out, international real estate company could have all of its offices and all of its administrative staff in the cloud. And he believed that the massive cost saving that would represent to the company should be passed back to the agents themselves. So he believed that a real estate company should be owned by the agents. They should be the shareholders of the company because they're the ones who build the company. They're the ones who bring in the revenue of the company, so they should own the company. And he believed they should be compensated not just for the transactions that they do as they're working as agents, but also for building the company based on their level of contribution. So as the company grows and more agents join the company, if I as an agent play a part in another agent joining the company, I should be compensated for that and not just the principal. So eXp, fast forward the clock now 11 years, they've now got over 600 full-time employees. Now, this is going to blow your mind, okay, but just take a deep breath. All 600 of these full-time employees work in an avatar world. So when you join eXp, you get an eXp email address, and you then create a little avatar for yourself. And then you walk through this avatar world, and you interact with all the staff in this avatar world. It has offices. It's got boardrooms, it's got training facilities, it's got auditoriums, it's got informal meeting areas. You can even go to the beach. You can play a game of soccer with other eXp agents, all in this avatar world. It is incredible. That avatar world was developed by a company called, if somebody knows in the chat roll, don't you want to help me? I've just drawn a blank for a second. Anyway, they own this company 100%. So eXp bought this business, and no one else in the world can use this technology now. And in fact, eXp do loan it out. You can actually purchase space in the or rent space in like an auditorium, for example. So the NBA, the National Basketball Association in the States, they just did their youth conference inside Verbella, that's the name of the company, and they got that from eXp. So this is an incredible piece of technology, and it is a great market disruptor. It may seem like a bit of a gimmick or a bit of a TV game the first time you see it, but just think about this for a second. This company has 42,000 agents. It's got over 600 full-time employees. They operate in 13 countries of the world and counting. They have a market cap of $7 billion US, having just listed a few years ago on the NASDAQ stock exchange. They now have one of the fastest growing shares on the NASDAQ. And listen to this, all of that, and they don't own one office. You just think, do you know how profitable that makes them as a company when compared with the traditional brick and mortar model of real estate? Now, what is important about all of that? So, great for them. That's wonderful. 3 cheers. But what's important about that for you is that their profitability makes it possible for them to compensate you as an agent far better. And that's what you're going to see today. So I just want to make 3 points before we get into the little Brent Go video. I'm going to show you a video by another guy who's going to explain to us the model of eXp and how they operate. But just 3 points I want to make before we start that. Number one, be kind to yourself for the next 60 minutes. Okay, what do I mean by that? All I mean is this. You're going to be tempted to check your phone or to be answering WhatsApps and maybe checking Facebook and getting into conversations with the people around you. And I'm just going to encourage you not to do that. You have a little window in your life now where you can just be kind to yourself. Give yourself the next 60 minutes. It's okay. Just take it. Because this opportunity, as James said, can change your life. He has become convinced of that, and I became convinced of that as I did my homework into this business. So just be kind to yourself. Just focus over the next 60 minutes. The next one, do your research afterwards. So at the end of today's webinar, you're going to get an email that the system will trigger to you using whatever email address you put in when you registered, when you got in today. You'll get an email with, I think it's 5 little resources that I've put in there for you. And that'll help you do your homework. If this business is as good as we say it is, the research will bring that out. Don't be afraid to scrutinize it. And I want to help you do that. So I've given you a bunch of resources that you can click through. One of them is a presentation given by a guy called Gene Frederick. It's a YouTube video link. I want to encourage you, go and watch that video. So Gene Frederick is a fascinating guy. He was the financial director of a huge American corporation called Texas Instruments. And he then left corporate and went into real estate, and he became a phenomenally successful and very well-known figure in the real estate industry in America. He together with a guy called Rob Flick, they built Keller Williams in the western half of the United States. So Gene Frederick owned 5 of the largest Keller Williams franchises in America. He owned Keller Williams Hawaii. He owned Keller Williams Cupertino, which is where Apple's head offices are, and 3 others. And then he also owned the Northern California region for Keller Williams. So he had 6,000 agents working for him in his offices. How's that? That's quite a big business. And quite a funny story. He was approached by Glenn Sanford in the very early days of eXp, because Gene is a very well-known figure. When Glenn Sanford started the company, he approached Gene. He said, I want you to take a look at this. And Gene Frederick looked at the model that you're going to see today, and he told Glenn Sanford 2 things. I've always found this quite humorous. The first thing he said to Glenn Sanford, because now just remember, Glenn Sanford's this like really techie, geeky guy, came up with this whole tech idea. And he shows Gene Frederick, and Gene says to him, okay, Glenn, 2 things. Number 1, I've always found this so funny. He says to him, you need to find someone else to present this. I can just imagine that moment. And then Glenn was, right, that's correct. Okay, tick, I'll get someone else to present this. And then Gene said to him, and the second thing I want to say to you, Glenn, is that you have just invented the Netflix of real estate. The Netflix of real estate. Sorry, that's my bad. When you put it on airplane mode, sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't actually turn off, so you still get your WhatsApp. Sorry. Gene Frederick went home. He told his wife about what he'd seen. He said, "I've just seen the Netflix. This thing is going to kill the DVD industry. I mean, it's a whole new world." And they sold all 5 of their Keller Williams franchises. They moved to eXp, and the rest is history. Gene has got one of the biggest eXp businesses on the planet today. And in that little video that I've given you the link to, he talks about, as an accountant, as a very level-headed guy, he talks about why eXp is the future of real estate. Go and watch it. I found that very helpful when I was doing my homework. And then thirdly, base your decision on the first 3 pillars of benefit. Now, this will make sense to you as we go along. It'll make more sense to you, but there are 4 pillars of benefit that eXp bring to the market. And I'm going to encourage you, assess the opportunity based on the first 3. Do those present a compelling offer to you as an agent to move to eXp and work as an agent for eXp? If they do, then the 4th pillar is a no-brainer. And the 4th pillar is how you can be incentivized by attracting other agents to the company. But obviously, I'm saying make sure you agree with the first 3 that they're compelling. Because then if you do, then you, with a clear conscience, with integrity, you then will be able to speak to other agents about having a look at it themselves. Make sense? Okay, so well, without any further ado, I want to introduce Brent Gove to you. We're going to watch a little 25-minute presentation by Brent. Brent is one of our direct leaders and supporters in our group within eXp. The backstory to Brent is, he won't tell you this, but I'll tell you because I know him personally. He was the top-selling RE/MAX agent in America. Now, that's impressive. You don't become the top-selling RE/MAX agent in America by being an idiot. He was with RE/MAX for 12 years. He's a loyal guy, doesn't bounce around. And then in 2008, when the whole global crisis happened, and it was particularly hard in the real estate industry in America, he took the opportunity to join a brand new up-and-coming business called Keller Williams. And he said, well, let me go and check them out to see if they're all that they're cracked up to be. He spent 8 years at Keller Williams, and he says he absolutely loved his time at Keller Williams, thought it was a brilliant company, and he said he would never leave. And then one day he got a phone call by an amazing lady that I would love you to meet. If you join our team and you come on this journey with James and I, you're going to meet Sheila Fesher. And he got a phone call from this lady, Sheila, and she said to him, Brent, I know that you're happy at Keller Williams, but I want you to take a look at something. And she showed him a version very similar to what he is now going to show you. And in his own words, he said within 20 minutes of looking at this, he knew he had to move. And he made the move to eXp. And Brent, so this was, I think, 4 or 5 years ago now. And Brent now has over 10,000 agents in his eXp business. And he still runs a real estate company within eXp himself. He still works as an agent with his own team as an eXp agent. And he's got in fact, his team does $100 million in real estate sales. And he has got this massive network. So he is a very, very successful guy with great insight and perspective on eXp. That's why I asked him if he would put together a little presentation for us in South Africa to just explain the model to us. And that's what this little presentation is. So at the end of Brent's presentation, how we're going to end it is I will get back on and I will just recap a couple of the points that he's made. I will correct some of the figures that he uses because they've changed since he did this presentation. And then I'll give you a few of your next steps that you can take if you're interested in joining us on this journey. And then we'll wrap it up for the day. So sit back, relax, and give Brent your attention, please, as I start the video.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brent Gove, and of course, I'm here to talk to you about eXp South Africa Everyone's so excited, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. Now, before I get going on the model and eXp and what's happening with the fastest growing real estate model the world has ever seen, I want to talk to you a little bit about my background. I promise to be super fast. I've been in real estate for 24 years. My first 12 years were at RE/MAX. Then I spent 8 years at Keller Williams. And honestly, I loved both companies. Had a very positive experience. And then 4 years ago, got a friend of mine who asked me to take a look at this new model for real estate, eXp Realty. Back then, it was a small company with 1,200 agents. Today, we're a $4 billion company, shattering all the records of our predecessors, RE/MAX and Keller Williams, cutting their growth rates in half. So what is it everyone's so excited about? Well, let's get started. Welcome to eXp South Africa. Now, eXp was founded by a Canadian, Glenn Sanford. Everyone loves Canadians, and Glenn is one of those special people. He created a company that nobody else created. He was like an Elon Musk, a Richard Branson, a Steve Jobs. Every once in a while, that kind of a special human being comes along and can just not only conceptualize an idea, but execute on that idea. And of course, Glenn did, and enter eXp. Now, what he did is he came up with a cloud-based brokerage, and we're launching it here in South Africa after great success in many other markets worldwide. Today, of course, we're a $4 billion company. So what is eXp all about? Well, of course, we're about selling real estate. And we have our main broker for the country of South Africa, Mr. Andrew Thompson. Amazing. Our regional finance manager, Mark Luker. He's an amazing guy as well. And a bunch of wonderful support folks helping you launch here in South Africa. Now, I won't kid you. We're pioneering at this time. You're part of the beginning, but there are great rewards for people who are first to market. In fact, let's talk about that. Netflix was first to market, and they dislodged a $5 billion, 800-pound gorilla called Blockbuster. We all went to Blockbuster. I'm sure you did too. And now we just point and click, get what we want through Netflix. Look at Amazon. There was a period it was like, oh, they'll never make it. They're not sustainable. Now they're the largest employer in the world. The most successful company the world has ever seen. Even Tony, and this is what eXp is in this cloud-based space. And then we got eXp going up against traditional brokerages. But even Tony Robbins noticed, and there's Tony right there, that the Hilton Corporation, having been around for over 100 years and creating an $18 billion valuation, here comes Airbnb. In fact, I love the name Airbnb. It's been around for only 10 years, valued at $31 billion. And they don't even own a building. It's incredible. And so what is eXp? What is this cloud campus environment? It's like any university. It's like any college campus. It's a place that houses hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of eXp staff, technology departments, accounting, brokerage operations, marketing, everything you need for a real estate company, but it's in the cloud. And the agents don't have to pay desk fees. You can work from anywhere. And we choose to work with Regus. The whole office hub, open space, being collaborative is the rage worldwide. Now next, what eXp is doing is we're a tech company. We're bringing tech tools that are amazing, cutting edge. One of our tech tools, a CRM, a cutting edge contact relationship manager, a retention tool to help you keep track of your clients, to do prospecting and lead tracking and template brochures and emails and calendars and tasks, and it's state of the art. You're going to love it. Can't wait to show that more to you. It's one of the things we bring. Now, the other thing eXp is huge on is learning. We are a learning-based company. We believe in being a student of life. You want to make it big in real estate? One of the reasons I became very successful, one of the top agents at RE/MAX and Keller Williams, because I'm learning-based. I'm a student. I'm always asking questions. And we believe so strongly that we created eXp University. And in the university, we have cloud classes. We have anywhere from at least 20 live hours a week, sometimes 30, 40 live hours a week of content. You literally can raise your hand, interrupt the instructor and say, hey, I have a question. Now he or she may say, hey, we're going to hold all questions to the end of class today, but it is truly a university with over 20 live, not recorded, live hours. You can stick around after class, ask the questions to the instructor about how do I get more listings? How do I get more buyers? How do I get more buyers into contract? How do I do social media marketing? How do I do contracts? I have questions about disclosure. Whatever it is, we have it all there in the cloud. It's in the cloud and it's live in person. Here's an example of one we recently did. We had about 500 people in the room. This particular event, it was all about lead generation and using technology to capture buyer and seller leads. Here's another one we did. If you look to the left, there's a panel up there of top superstars from RE/MAX and Keller Williams and Coldwell Banker and Independence. All those people sell hundreds of homes a year each. They all just joined eXp Realty. So we put them up on a panel and said, why? And what do you see the value is in this company? Now, a little bit about eXp World Holdings. Essentially, our eXp World Holdings owns mortgage companies, title companies, real estate companies, home warranty companies, on all the ancillary services. So that they give out what we call equity opportunities. In other words, you get to own a piece of the company you work at. You got to understand that's a big deal. I worked at RE/MAX for 12 years and had nothing to show for it. Most of the agents walk out there with no equity. It's like a buyer. We say, please buy a home. Get some equity for yourself, some self-respect. And then the people who rent a home for 20 years were like, shake our heads. Yet I did that. I spent 20 years, 12 years at RE/MAX, 8 years at Keller Williams, and I had no equity. So at eXp, we're going to give you what we call equity awards. When you close your first home and it records, you're going to get an equity award, stock award. When you cap at eXp, and we'll go over the cap in a little bit, you're going to get more stock in our company. When you refer an agent to eXp, you enroll an agent, you tell them how much you like it, and they join, you get more stock. In fact, the more people you tell about eXp, the more stock and equity you get. I spent 20 years at RE/MAX and Keller Williams, referred hundreds of people to both companies, and didn't have a whole lot to show for it. So eXp, they monetize that. They think that's valuable. Finally, you have an agent equity program where you could take 5% of your commission. Now, this is optional. You don't have to do it. But 5% of your commission, and you can purchase our stock at a 10% discount. Now, I started doing this 4 years ago, and the stock was $2.90 a share. Today, it was trading at $58 a share. Back then, the company wasn't even worth $100 million. Today, it's worth over $4 billion market cap. They called me crazy. Now, they call me for advice. And so I tell you what, it's scary when you do something new and this and that, but let me tell you what, eXp makes sense by the numbers. So let's get into some more numbers. We have what we call an Icon Award, and this is where our cap at eXp is 150,000 Rand. And so once you pay in 150,000 Rand to eXp, you go to a 100% split. The split is 75-25, just like everybody else. But once you pay in 150,000 Rand, we move you to a 100% split. Pretty cool. And check this out. When you cap and you earn 5 million Rand, which in a lot of areas means you're selling approximately 33 homes a year if you do the math. Now, if you're in an outlying area where home prices are low, you'll have to sell more. If you're in a very high-end area, it may be less. But if you have an annual gross commission income of 5 million Rand and you cap it, of course you're going to actually earn your cap back in the form of stock. We give you 150,000 Rand worth of stock. Pretty cool. So what did it really cost you to be eXp? Not much. It's pretty cool. Now, the next thing is we do revenue sharing. And this is what sets our company apart. Now, for years, I had friends working at Century 21, other friends working at Better Homes, Sotheby's, Christie's, Coldwell Banker, RE/MAX, and people would refer people and they wouldn't earn anything, and all the revenue would go to those international multi-billion-dollar real estate corporations, and they would keep all the money. Well, at eXp South Africa, if you look at the scale here, tier 1 at the top, if you refer one person, The dollar amounts in the middle there, that middle dollar amounts, if you add up those amounts, they add up to 150,000 Rand. So what our founder did, Glenn Sanford, is he broke them up into bite-sized rewards. You refer one person, you get 26,250 Rand. It's pretty cool. And someone asked me, or am I limited to that? I go, no, you can refer 10. And if that person was a capping agent and they paid in 150,000 Rand to the company, that's why it says up to, then you will receive 26,250. What happens if they only do half a cap, like 75,000 Rand? Then you get half of 26,250. What if they do a quarter cap, like a quarter of 150,000 Rand? Then you get a quarter of the reward, 26,250. The way it works is every month there's a closing. On the following month, the 22nd, eXp pays out what we call revenue share. eXp South Africa. It's very exciting. So now everyone they tell, that's what's called tier 2. And anyone they tell, you get 30,000 Rand. Now the way you qualify is in the right-hand column. You must refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months in South Africa. 5 agents who sell 2 homes a year, 1 home every 6 months. Kind of a low standard, but it's a standard. So if you refer 5 agents who sell at least 1 home every 6 months, then it'll unlock tier 2. If you refer 10 people to eXp South Africa, it'll unlock tier 3, 15, 20, 25. It grows in increments of 5 until you get to tier 6. That unlocks tier after tier after tier. Then there's a jump of 15 to 40 to unlock tier 7. But tier 7 pays 37,500 Rand per agent on that tier, unlimited, as it is on every tier. Pretty awesome. So let me kind of show you how this works. Here we go. Let me give you a 5-year example or a 5-year possibility. By the way, I did what you're going to see in 6 months. Doesn't have to take 5 years, but I'm going to be conservative. It says it takes you 5 years. So if you look at the example here, let's say that you tell 10 agents this year. And remember, you're getting 26,200. Look at the top of the scale there. Tier 1 at the top, 26,250 Rand. So if you tell 10 people, and you multiply that times 26,250 Rand, you get 262,500 in Rand every year. And if those 10 people stay with eXp South Africa next year, you get it again. And if they stay a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th year, you get it a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th year. This is like you selling homes 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, and you're still getting paid today. Now, we all know that's not going to work. You're paid to produce escrows. You put buyers in escrow. You put sellers in escrow. You get paid. It's over. You have to continue to rinse, wash, and repeat. You have to continue the process. Not here, because you now own a company with eXp South Africa. So if you tell 10, you're getting 26,250 Rand per person a year if they're a capping agent. So make sure that they're an agent who sells real estate. Obviously, if you started a company and you tell 10 people who don't sell it all, you would get nothing, and you'll also get nothing in eXp. You need agents who sell real estate. Again, capping agents are ideal, but it can be less. Now, let's say you help those 10 agents tell 10, and in the next 5 years. So you tell 10 this year, then they each tell 2 people a year for 5 years. 2 times 5 is 10. So if they all did that, you'd have 10 agents who told 10. That would be 100 agents on tier 2. Now, again, I told 10 in the first 2 weeks, and they all told 10 within 6 months. So I did this 5-year example in 6 months. It does not have to take 5 years. But what's wrong if it took 5 years? Because look at this. If you have 100 people on tier 2 who are cappers, how much do you get per person? 30,000 Rand a year per person. So when you multiply that times 100, that's 3 million Rand a year, plus your 262,500 Rand for the people you personally told. That's a total of 3,262,500 a year, and you get it each year as long as those people stay with the company. Well, guess what? The next year, mine quadrupled, almost grew 5 times. So that number grew accordingly. Now, this is just with you telling 10 agents. What if you told 20? What if you told 30? What if you told 40? What if you told 80? If you and I were to start a real estate company together, the first thing we would do is recruit agents. And if we had 4 or 5 agents, we'd be a little boutique company. And then 2 years later, we have 40 or 50 agents, we're a bigger boutique company. Maybe 2, 3, 4 years after that, we have 3, 4, 500 agents, we're no longer a boutique company. we're a company to be dealt with in, say, Johannesburg. You got 500 agents, you've kind of arrived. This is all that is. We're attracting agents to our company that are learning based, want to give back, and I'll talk about that, want to have a seat at the table of ownership. This is an agent-owned a company, so to speak, through the stock. The more you sell, the more agents you refer, the more sales metrics you hit, the more stock you are constantly awarded to our company. If that sort of thing appeals to you, owning a piece of the company you work at, then welcome to eXp. Now, what I want to show you is our expansion. We're already in the United States, we're in Canada, we're in Australia and the UK. This year, like today as I'm making this, we are opening South Africa, like today, pretty exciting. And then we're also opening France and India, and we're opening Mexico and Portugal. Pretty exciting stuff. And you're just right there wherever you are in South Africa. But as you tell people in other parts of South Africa, they'll have friends in Canada. They'll have friends possibly in Portugal or France or India, Australia, the UK. And your business will grow out of South Africa. And you will be paid revenue share on home sales throughout the UK. I am throughout Australia. I am throughout South Africa. I am, you can, you get the idea. Now, we run the whole world. It's a cloud campus through Virbela. Virbela is one of the most successful companies online. Look them up. They're a Cinderella success company. When COVID-19 hit, eXp didn't blink. Like I said, they call you crazy, and then they call you for advice. Well, we have a world that housed hundreds and hundreds of employees, and we didn't pay any commercial leases. We didn't have to heat and cool it. We didn't have to insure it. No one's going to trip. There's no trip hazard in a virtual world. We didn't have to add coffee, janitorial. We didn't have to do TIs, tenant improvements. We didn't have to buy furniture. We didn't have to sign copier leases or computer leases or phone system leases. Need I go on? Staff it with employees. This is a beautiful world, and the overhead is very low. That's why we could share revenues. Is it working? We went from zero to a $4 billion market cap in 10 years. It's working, and you get to be a part of it. Super excited. We also have Facebook groups that called Workplace in Facebook, and you could post new listings. Buyers need a property here, there. Super collaborative. You will absolutely love it. This is proved to be a great success. And everyone's like, well, what kind of marketing does eXp have? The same kind of marketing your current company has. Beautiful brochures for your listings, wonderful business cards and digital flyers, as you could see. Just great stuff. You're going to love it. Bottom line, join the company everyone's talking about, the Amazon of real estate. We have arrived. That's what we're being called, you know? So what kind of growth? Well, it was 1,300 agents or 1,288 agents about 4 years ago. Today, it is over 36,000 agents. It is exciting what's happening. Now, we got to 36,000 agents without missing a beat, and we've hit $4 billion, and we're highly profit, what's called net profitability. Wall Street, you know, the different stock markets worldwide love us. Wait till we hit 100,000 in the next year and a half, 2-3 years. When we have 100,000 agents, economy scales kick it even more. Profitability goes through the roof. And then the stock, well, it'll do what you might expect it to do. I'm not going to say what it's going to do, but I've just watched it grow from $2.90 a share to $8 a share. People are like, do you think it'll ever reach 20? Today we're trading at $58 a share. And you go, do you think it'll ever reach? I think it's going to be pretty awesome, and I'm so excited to be a part of this company. Almost every other day I get a text from somebody saying, I just became a millionaire through the eXp stock. Not unusual at all, but the company's been around for 10 years, not 10 weeks or 10 months. Now, it's brand new to South Africa, and again, being first to market is a big deal. Uber was first to market. They were uber successful. Travelocity and the online, your travel agents are gone. They've been replaced by online. You buy your airfare online, your hotels, your rental cars. Being first to market, Facebook, Google, Apple, this is a big deal. And now you get to be a part of this because it's in real estate. Now, here's our eXp South Africa model explained. So the bottom line is it's 800 Rand to join one time. It's a one-time fee, 800 Rand to become a part of our company. Then the monthly fees are 800 Rand every month, okay? It's not free to work here. We have expenses, but it's very reasonable, very affordable. Our split is a 75-25 split, just like every top-notch superstar company throughout South Africa. Again, the cap is 150,000 Rand and very reasonable cap. And then once you cap, you go to a 100% split. So it's 75-25 to you cap at 150,000 Rand paid in, and then you go to 100%. So if you do that in 6 months, you're at 100% split for the last 6 months of the year, and it resets every year. We did it, James, we did it our first month, 6 weeks, and they were at 100% for the rest of the year. Some of you do it very quick. Some of you, it may take you 9 months to cap, but you'll enjoy 3 months at 100%. Everything you close, you keep it all. That's a pretty good deal. We do have a 4% international fee that applies. We take 0.5% of that and we give back to our community here in South Africa for development, for schools, technology for children, sports, and getting involved in the community. We call that our social responsibility, to not just enrich ourselves and do well and prosper and do well in business, but to care about the community we live in. And so that's a really cool thing that eXp does with that 4% international fee. Finally, we have partners, we have third-party participation. Just to name a few, how about ENS Africa? How about PKF Octagon? How about Deloitte, Aon, Standard Bank? I won't read the whole list, but we have all the right partners, and we are super excited about the promise of what the future holds. Really cool. By the way, here's our founder, Glenn Sanford. He's on the stock exchange the day eXp joined the NASDAQ with Cisco, Apple, Intel, PepsiCo, joined the big boards. This was the day. There's our board of directors. And here he is hitting the closing button, shutting down the world financial markets worldwide. It's an honor they give to companies that join the NASDAQ. We're one of the hottest stocks on the NASDAQ today. Very exciting. So as I wrap up today, it's our final slide. I just want to tell you this. eXp South Africa is making history. I mean, you get to be a part of this. It's a big deal. I am so glad that 4 years ago, I had the courage to go, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. I left Keller Williams, a well-known factor, and joined eXp because I wanted to own a piece of the company I worked at. Today, I've seen it change hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lives of my friends and colleagues in a positive way I can't even tell you. It's just been so powerful. So really encourage you to join, to be a part, to join this movement, to be a part of a company that is agent-owned, agent-centric. Everyone says they're agent-centric, but how many of them do the agents actually own a piece of the company they work through the stock? So what I want you to do is to go to expsouthafrica.co.za/join, and I want you to apply. You're just applying. It will not move to the eXp, but they'll give you an independent contractors agreement, and it starts the process. But apply and get approved to join, and then when you're ready to join, you could join. But get this part out of the way. It's a part of your due diligence. Also, I want you to do a beta test. I want you to take what you just saw. I want you to share it with your best friend in real estate, 1 or 2 or 3 of them. As a Keller Williams agent, I did 8 of them. I called it the Save Me beta test. I had 8 people watch what you just saw, version very close to that. And guess what? All of them sold franchises, quit full-time jobs as regional managers for Remax, general managers for Berkshire Hathaway, sold multiple franchises, big star agents. Every single one of them, 8 for 8, joined me at eXp because I asked them to look at the model, what you just saw, and say, what am I missing? Because who wouldn't want to own your own company? Who wouldn't want stock awards? Who wouldn't want a competitive cap at 100% split? Who wouldn't want all the wonderful benefits that eXp offers? The revenue sharing is crazy today. So take the time, share this with a few people, do what's called a beta test. Go, I want to know what you think. Would you look at the model? It's a new model for real estate. What do you think? And see what they say. I'm so glad I did it, and I would encourage you to do the same. Have a great day, everyone. I look forward to meeting you in one of our next South African meetings for eXp. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope you could engage with the content. So as Brent did mention, the eXp South Africa team, the 7 full-time employees already on the eXp South Africa team. The principal, as we would normally call them, they call it the managing broker or the broker of record, is Andrew Thompson. He is the principal of eXp South Africa, and if you join eXp with us, you will have lots to do with Andrew, and he's a good guy, and he's incredibly accessible, and they're doing a great job as a team. There's some of the other senior staff there, and then there's administrative staff who head up onboarding, and then we've got 2 transactional specialists whom you will work with on all of your transactions, the paperwork, and all of that stuff. Okay, so that's the South Africa team. As Brent mentioned, there are 4 pillars to what brings the value of eXp to the market. And I want to just review those with you. So first of all, they have a phenomenal technology platform for you to build your business as an estate agent. Secondly, they have world-class training, in fact, which no other company in the world can compete with. Thirdly, is the equity awards, the stock awards. So you have the opportunity to build up a shareholding in the company just by doing what you're already doing as an estate agent. You'll just get given shares. And it's so funny when I watch that video was made in December, November last year. So it's about 2 months old. And Brent is saying, hey, you know, the shares are now $50. So the shares this morning were, I'm offline, but I think it was about $112. They have more than doubled in the last 2 months since that video was made. So, you know, don't you want to be just given shares like that for doing what you're already doing? You know, Keller Williams, Remax, as he mentioned them, I'm not picking on them. Those are just his background. Those are great companies. But do you own shares in the company? Do they give you ownership in the company? Well, that's what eXp do. It's an agent-owned business. And then the 4th pillar is the revenue sharing opportunity if you attract other agents to eXp. So let's just have a look at some of the detail around each of those, and then I want to correct some of the figures. So as part of the platform, this is the first pillar, the technology platform. You will pay 800 Rand to join eXp, and then there's an 800 Rand per month fee. There are no hidden fees over and above the 800 Rand. That includes absolutely everything you get, and I will show you a list of all of that now. What is your split as an agent working with eXp? It is essentially a 71-29 split. Okay, I'll say 71 because the 29 that goes to eXp, that is split between 25% to eXp South Africa, and then there's a 4% override that gets paid to eXp International. It's called a transaction fee. So essentially, when you start, the beginning of every year that you're with eXp, you work in 12-month cycles. So every 12-month cycle, and that cycle for you begins on the day you join. That's called your anniversary date. So 12 months from there, you begin paying in your 29%, 25% of which is going to eXp South Africa. When that 25% reaches 150,000 Rand within a 12-month period, you've paid in 150, you then cap. You now no longer pay anything to eXp South Africa. You only continue to pay that 4% to international. So essentially what that means, guys, is this. You will be on a 71-29 split until you cap in a year. Once you've capped, you've paid in 150, you're then on a 96% split. You keep 96% of all your transactions after that. That's a pretty good deal. So obviously you want to cap as soon as you can within any year. Let's say you cap within 6 months. For the last 6 months of that anniversary year, you'll keep 96% of your commissions. Okay, that's how the split works. What's included in that 800 Rand? Well, obviously you get access to eXp World, Avatar World, and all of the support and stuff that's in there. You get your email address and all the technology tools. Right, what do the technology tools include? Well, you get all of your listings listed on a global website. eXp obviously got a website for South Africa where all of the properties are listed, but also internationally. You get a listing management system, which I'll show you in a second. You get a CRM system to manage all of your contacts and your leads and your birthdays and all the stuff that I have always taught agents to do. build relationships, manage your leads, etc. All of your private property syndication and your property 24 syndication. So the syndication to the 2 portals is covered in the 800 Rand per month. Now, for those of you who own your own small business, you know that is an incredibly good deal. A lot of small business owners are paying 5, 6, 7, 8,000 Rand a month just for their P24 and their private property listings and all the clicks and all of that. All of that is included for 800 Rand a month with eXp. Not only that, you also get Lightstone as part of your 800 Rand a month. And then part of the listing management system actually generates a 1-page website for you with all of your listings, and you can use that to link to all your social media, advertising, etc. You also get access to eXp University, which I'll show you in a second. That's the training, the workplace chat groups for international and local referral swapping. eXp really are a big global family, and that eXp, that Facebook workplace application works very, very well. And I'll show you images of some of those things. So this is the listing management and CRM system that we get in South Africa. It's called REP. So half of it is the listing management side, which syndicates to the portals. We can give you this information, the detailed information on it later. The other half of it is a CRM system that does kind of what PropCon does, or Virtual Agent, or what some of these other CRM systems do. So you can manage your leads, you can create drip campaigns, you can send bulk communication. It does buyer matches, so you upload a new listing, it'll match all of the buyers that you've got on your CRM that are interested in that type of home, and you can, at the click of a button, send a system-generated PDF of the various listings that match their criterion. So it's a great system. I want to show you a little video now. Because, you know, we're talking about this avatar world, and I mean, it's just like, it seems a bit unreal. Like, what are you talking about, Stephen? So when I first joined eXp, which is about a month and a half ago now, I couldn't get my email address to work, the eXp email address. So I went into the tech department in the world. I walked in there and I took my ticket, and within like a minute, I was seated at a table, and I was met by Landon Cox, the tech support specialist. And I want to show you, I'll show you 1 minute of the video, just so that you get an idea of what this avatar world and what it's like interacting and getting support in the avatar world looks like. So I hope you enjoy this little video. Okay, that dude there, Landon Cox, he's the guy that's busy helping me. He didn't have the answer for my question, so he's gone to speak to his tech support manager there, Melissa, and he is going to walk back over here to our table at some point and hopefully answer my question. Wow, here he comes.
Okay, did a bit of digging around.
All right.
And it looks like the instructions we have that are for UK emails are the same for South African.
Okay, great.
So what I'll do is I'll give you the instructions for the setup in Outlook. And what email app are you using exactly?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the Mail app on Mac.
Gotcha. So they're not instructions for the Mail app.
Okay, so that gives you an idea, and then the instructions that he sent me work perfectly, and the email address now works on my computer and my phone. So what an amazing experience! And again, just remind yourself that it's not just gimmicky. This is what makes this business so profitable, which is what makes them able to give you shares in the company and to share the revenues of the business with you, etc. Okay, so that's the technology platform. That's the eXp Global Workplace and Work Chat app, where we have interaction with eXp agents all over the world. They're at a press of a button. You can speak to Kyle Whistle if you want to. So Kyle Whistle is just voted the top agent in the world using YouTube or video. He's got a company called the Whistle Realty. And Whistle Realty, in fact, just moved to eXp. So if you go to whistlerealty.com, and Whistle is WHISSEL, realty.com, go and have a look at his website. You'll see they are now powered by eXp. That's one of the beautiful things, actually, for niche brands that want to move across to eXp. You don't have to rebrand your business. You don't need the entity of your company anymore, but you can still trade as NRG Realty or mom and pop shop or whatever. If you want your logo and your colors to stay the same, you can. You can just be powered by eXp. And that's what Kyle Whistle did with his company. They are now powered by eXp, but he's still Whistle Realty. And anyway, the point was, if you want to contact Kyle Whistle, you can. You just go to work chat, find Kyle Whistle, send him a message. He'll reply to you. This business gives us global access to the top agents in the world. It's phenomenal. Then marketing templates. When you join eXp, obviously you own your own business within eXp. You're using them as a platform, and so you will have to pay for your business cards and your listing brochures and all that, directional signage and all of that. This is not like, joining a company where they just give you everything. This is an entrepreneurial opportunity, so it's for your own account, but all the templates are there. So you would just put your own face and details in there, and you'll be able to print all of these marketing materials. And we work with a company in Joburg called 360, and you place your orders and they deliver it to your door for your marketing materials. Okay, that's the first pillar, is the phenomenal technology platform that you get to work with as an estate agent with an eXp. Second pillar is training. And the training is done through this thing called eXpU, so eXp University. And the way eXpU works is every single eXp country in the world have an auditorium and then training facilities. And they host training events throughout the day. So on any given week, there is 40, 60, 80 hours worth of training happening in eXp world in the various country auditoriums and training facilities. And eXp make a schedule of all of those events available weeks in advance so that you can go in, you can look through what's coming up. Oh, there's something on social media marketing in the UK auditorium on Thursday evening. Then there's something on negotiation skills in the US auditorium. And then South Africa have got an event on whatever, using video or whatever it is. Oh, I think I'd like to go to that one, and that one. You schedule it and you just go into the world with your avatar and you go and attend those training sessions. Some of the ones in the States, etc., obviously later at night for us, like maybe 9 or 10 at night. But if you've got the time, you can go and do those training sessions. It's amazing. Another point on the eXp training thing, this is very clever what they've done with it. There is an award that you can earn as an eXp agent called the Icon Award. That's kind of like their super duper double triple dipper diamond club. Every agency's got their like super duper platinum club or whatever. And that's what eXp have got. It's called the Icon Award. In order to become an Icon status agent in South Africa, you've got to do 5 million Rand gross commission. Okay, before all the splits, 5 million gross commission. And it's a similar like type of agent in every other country around the world. So these are very successful agents. Now, when you become an Icon agent in eXp, what they do is they take your cap, because you've done 5 million Rand gross commission in a 12-month period. Long time ago, in that 12 months, you would have paid your 150,000 Rand in. You would have capped a long time ago. They take that 150 that you paid in and they give it back to you in the form of eXp shares. So they give you these NASDAQ listed shares, 150,000 Rand. Hey, congratulations for becoming an Icon agent. But in order to qualify to get those shares, or like 70% of them or something, or half of them or something, you've got to do a certain number of hours training in eXp world. And it's a brilliant system, because what eXp are doing is they're incentivizing the top agents in the world to train the other agents. And when you attend a training session, it's in an auditorium like this one, you can speak to the presenter, you can walk up to the presenter, and you can ask questions at the end. You've got access to these people, direct access, and it's all in this avatar world. So the training in eXp is phenomenal. Thirdly, this is an agent-owned business. I won't labor the point, but just to remind you how you get shares, there's actually other ways to get shares other than this, like that Icon one I just mentioned. But these are the basic ones. When you do your first deal as an eXp agent, so when you've joined, the first deal you do, they say to you, hey, congratulations for doing your first deal. Welcome to eXp. Have 2,000 Rands worth of eXp shares. They just give you 2,000 Rands worth of shares. Then when you cap, you get 4,000 rands worth of shares. So when you've done, just now listen carefully, this is mathematical. When you've done 600,000 rand gross commission. Why 600,000? Because when you've done 600,000 gross commission, you would have paid in 25% of that to eXp South Africa. 25% of 600,000 is 150,000 rand. Remember, your cap is 150. So when you've capped, they give you 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares, saying, "Hey, congratulations on capping." Now that one is annual. Every year you cap, you get another 4,000 rands worth of eXp shares. So what happens here is if you're an agent for another 5 years or another 10 years, by doing what you're already doing as an agent, on the side, you are busy building up a shareholding in one of the NASDAQ's fastest growing shares. You're building up an asset base for yourself by doing what you're already doing. Then when you sponsor an agent, so you've attracted another agent, they join and they're on your first tier. When they do their first deal, they get 2,000 rands worth of shares, but they give you 4,000 rands worth of shares. They say, "Hey, congratulations, the person that you sponsored has just done their first deal, have 4,000 rands worth of shares." So if you, over the next 5 or 10 years, if you just introduce 25 other agents to eXp, you'd get 100,000 rands worth of shares just for introducing them when they do their first deal. Okay, then the last pillar is the revenue sharing model. And the way this works, so that the numbers are slightly different here from what Brent showed us because they were adjusted. So let's say you're the agent orange there, and then you attract an agent named Joe, and he joins eXp. Now, Joe is on your first tier, what we call your front line. When Joe does a transaction, you get a percentage of their commissions, up to 21,000 rand. When Joe has capped, Joe's paid in 150, you would have earned 21,000 rand from Joe's transactions. Now, Joe doesn't have to cap. If Joe only does half his cap for the year, you'll get half of that 21,000 rand. But you're not limited to one person. You could introduce 10 or 20 people if you wanted to eXp, and you'd earn up to 21,000 rand on each of them. But of course, it doesn't stop there. It goes down to 7 levels. So Joe might also attract someone to eXp. And in fact, when they start doing deals, you earn more off your second tier than you do on your first tier. You earn up to 24,000 rand per agent on your second tier. So if you've introduced 10 and they've each introduced 10, you've got 100 people on your second tier, you'd earn up to 24,000 rand on each of them. So that's what it looks like down to 7 tiers. You earn 21 on your first tier, 24 on your second per agent, and it goes down to your 7th level. So you can unlock all 7 tiers of your network. Now, how do you do that? I'm sorry, this is a bit detailed, guys, but this is an important detail that I'm going to share with you now. So just put your thinking caps on. You don't automatically earn the revenue sharing on all of the people in your network. You have to unlock the various tiers of your network. How do you do that? You do that by personally enrolling more people. So adding more people to your tier 1. When you have 5 people personally enrolled, and they have to be active agents, okay? They can't be your mother and your grandmother and your dog. They've got to be active agents, which means they've got to be selling at least 2 homes a year. When you've got 5 active agents on your first tier, you then unlock your second tier and you begin earning all your revenue share from all of those agents. When you've got 10 on your first tier, you unlock your 3rd level. And so it goes down to the point where if you personally enrolled 40 people, you've then unlocked all 7 tiers of your network. So just using the example Brent used, if you introduce 10 and you do this over 5 years, you take your time. This is a retirement plan. Over 5 years, you introduce 10 people to eXp, and over 5 years, they each introduce 10. With that hypothetical example, you would earn 2.6 million rand a year, and that's a passive income, and that will, not only will it continue year after year, but it will in fact grow because those 10 will introduce more, and you will go down to like your 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th levels. Okay, so if you know people in any of these countries you can now introduce them to eXp, and they will take their place within your network, and you will earn a revenue share in that currency. So if you introduce an American agent or an agent in Hong Kong or in the UK or France or Italy or wherever, you will earn the rand equivalent of their pound transactions or their euros, the dollars or whatever. This is truly an international opportunity, which I think is very, very exciting. Okay, so let's finish it off. What are your next steps? So I would first of all really encourage you to get together with the person who invited you today. You're going to have questions. You're going to have things you didn't understand. That's fine. This is just the first time you've seen it. Once you have gone through the resources that you get in the email that I send you, so that's the second thing, is watch that Gene Frederick presentation. All of those resources, including that video, will raise more questions. That's good. That's fine. That's healthy. So please book an appointment with the person that invited you today for maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday morning, maybe Tuesday. And just get together one-on-one. Do a Google Meet or a Zoom call and talk through all of your questions. This part of the process. Then the second thing I want to encourage you to do is do your homework. Again, you should get that email from me. Go through those resources. Go and watch that presentation by Gene Frederick. Very level-headed, and it'll help you make your decision. The other thing I wanted to say, guys, is if you've watched today and you just think, you know, I'm not interested in that. Like, that's not for me. That's okay. We appreciate the fact that you've taken the time to have a look. And this is not about convincing people to do anything. This is about sharing an opportunity with you. But if you are at least intrigued and interested, then get back together with the person who invited you, and then invite someone to join you on this webinar. Now, just write this down. Next Wednesday, in fact, every Wednesday, it's not a Thursday, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, I do this webinar for the public. Okay, it's basically for the people within my group to invite others to. The event we've done today has been for James and his team, but on a Wednesday, you can invite someone to come and join you. And that's what old Brent called the Save Me beta test. Like, this is such an easy way of introducing, 5 or 10 people to it. Phone them up and say, hey, I've seen something that I think looks pretty good, but I just need your eyes to look at it. If I'm missing something and there's something actually that I need to be careful of, I'd love you to just tell me. So I want your opinion. Could you please have a look at this thing with me next Wednesday and just use the same link that you clicked to get onto today's webinar? It's the same link for next week. So just send them the link and they can join you next week. And you never know. You might invite 5 or 10 of your closest real estate friends to join you next week, Wednesday. And in Brent's case, he said he invited 8 and all 8 joined him. So you could have a growing network immediately. So invite someone to come next week and ask them for their opinion. And then lastly, you can start the join process. Now, I'm actually going to just pause that conversation because what is happening is because James has made the very courageous and I think good decision to move his entire team over to eXp, like Kyle Whistle did with Whistle Realty. James and the NRG team are doing that. They're moving en masse to eXp. In fact, they're going to be the first team in South Africa to move as a team into eXp. And because of that, we are busy finalizing the team agreement that he is coming in with eXp South Africa. And that will be finalized within the next couple of weeks. And while they are finalizing those negotiations, we have decided to build an initial leadership team. So each one of you who's on this webinar today have been hand selected by someone at NRG and obviously personally invited because we want you to join us on our initial leadership team as we move across. And together, as we then launch within the next couple of weeks, we aim to build an absolute powerhouse, not only in Port Elizabeth, and in fact, not only in South Africa, but internationally as a team together. So the invitation that we make to you today is, do you want to join this initial leadership team as we take this exciting journey together? If you do, you can't go and actually fill in that join app yet. Okay, so don't go to that join link. we need to conclude our discussions as a team with eXp as we move across, as James moves across. And once that's been done, then we can all move. But at this point, you just need to start doing your homework and make your decision about whether you want to join or not, because in a week and 2 weeks, however long it takes to conclude, when we go, we're gonna be moving fast. Okay, so that's it for me. Let me have a look at the chat roll to see if there are any questions. Does the revenue share vest at any stage? Yes, revenue share vests after 3 years. It's the same as the KW model, Linda. So once you've been actively with eXp for 3 years, the revenue share vests, and you keep that for the rest of your life. And in fact, you can will it to an heir. Only proviso with that is they've got to get an FFC because it is commission income. So that's good news. And the stock options also, some of those stock options vest for 3 years. So you can't sell them for 3 years, but once they've vested, they're an asset, and you can sell them, will them, do whatever you want with them. Okay, so hopefully that answers that question. Thank you, Linda. And good to have you on board. If you're a Keller Williams agent, it's good to have you. You know, the Keller Williams agents in the States, there is a mass exodus into eXp. And you can go and check it up on YouTube and do your homework on that as well. You're going to see that that's the case. Okay, guys. So bless you. Thank you again, James. I will hand it back over to you if you want to just pop yourself on and have some closing some comments. And I want to thank you, and I look forward to the journey together with you guys. So thanks again.
Geez, Steve, thanks so much. Guys, well, I don't know. I've been involved and watched that in some form or other, the model explained, and I get excited every time. I hope that you found it interesting, and thank you for joining us. And I hope that some part of it resonated with you. You know, something that really resonated with me, I just want to share with you, is the equity share program. You know, it's quite a disheartening journey we have in this game. We fight for our mandates. We do the listing. We do the viewings and take people around and spend a lot of time in convincing them, fill in the offer to purchases, get them financed, get the mortgage done, and then wait for the transfer and eventually get paid our hard-earned commission. You know, and then wake up the next day and start all over again, you know, from a zero base. And that for me is a tough thing to swallow from a business perspective. And with this and with eXp, you don't have to. You own equity in the company, and hence residual income for the rest of your life. And you own shares in a NASDAQ listed company whose share price has gone from, so just to update you, Steve and Brent were both wrong, from $2 4 years ago to $119 today. And it was $60 in December. So it's doubled over the last 2 months because everybody is moving across and they're starting to establish themselves. Don't you want to be a part of that? I mean, it's an incredible story. This gives you an opportunity to retire with residual income without any financial stress. You'll earn residual income for the rest of your life. You can also create a legacy for your kids and your family because it's totally transferable. Your shares are transferable. It can make up part of your foreign investment program. Your residual income is transferable, so you can leave your family and your children in a better way. So that really resonated with me. And remember, this is a NASDAQ listed company, so it's not a fly-by-night by any means. And it's been referred to by international bodies and independent bodies and the press as the Netflix of real estate. You can't ignore that. I certainly am not going to, so I do hope some of you are going to join us in the journey. So in closing, I'd really just like to say thank you, and thank you to Steve, and thank you to you all for opening yourselves up to this opportunity and for your precious time. Have a beautiful day and take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Bye-bye.